What's up?
Dale, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Uh, it's just us right now.
Yep.
Um, I've had several calls, actual
Wait
calls.
just a second. Let me turn the recording back on. Sarah and Barbara, welcome. Let's
Thank
see.
you. Everybody
Share.
doing okay?
Everybody's
Hey,
doing good. I just got an email a few minutes ago that Felicia Kennard was in a wreck. Um, Anita Sanders sent it to me, and I think she's okay. I've got another email pulled up right now. Let me
yeah, we had her
switch.
last semester, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. And let me pull up a different email here, or I can pull that up. Um, let's see. It'll let me pull up two different copies of my email. I don't want to lose that one. I had to find that one from Carmen. I want to make sure I address it first. Let's see. Okay, this is it. Dr. Bull, let's see. Felicia Kennard, male student, was in a major car accident. Her children were not injured. She's been released from the hospital. The accident was major. Her car flipped twice. So um, we need to make sure that her instructor is aware of that. And that, of course, we are aware of that. So prayers for her. If you know Felicia, again, we had her last semester. So um,
Well,
we'll need to monitor.
Jody Mack moved this weekend. You know that situation I told you about it.
Yeah, you told me about
She
that.
had to
She was
move. Well, while she was moving, a storm came up. Lightning struck a tree. She sent me pictures. Lightning struck a tree. It fell over onto the moving van and messed up her car somewhat. Her car was parked beside the moving van, but she's still smiling. She says, "I will not give up." So,
well, good for
yeah,
Jody. I'll
yeah.
get in touch with her.
But she's out of that situation now
She's
completely.
gone through an ordeal.
Yeah, she's out of
Uh,
that situation she
well,
was in.
that's good. I'm glad
We've
she's
about
out.
got her. Kathy and I we've just about got her called up. So she'll be called up by the end of this week probably.
Okay.
So
Well, that's good. Jody's good people. She's just gone through a lot.
yeah,
Um, and so hopefully she can overcome that and this won't set her back
well,
again.
she loves us. She thinks we walk on water, Dale.
Ah, well, we think a
We
lot
know
of her.
better, but she thinks we walk on
Yeah, I
water.
know better than that. In that vein, um, continue. I know you can't right now because Blackboard's down today and tomorrow, but so that'll be what, Wednesday. Take a look at your classes on Wednesday. Uh, Now, let me be clear, and I'm gonna pull up the other email. This email that Carmen sent us uh, is we don't fill out this form. Let me be clear. We don't fill out the form that Carmen sent. It's for traditional undergraduate, gold faculty of TUG, and grad faculty of student athletes only. It's not for just general uh, graduate students. But midterm reporting, so don't go in and do this. It will confuse them. I talked to Carmen about this. But what we need to do is we need to do our audits. Of course, we've been working on them for a couple of weeks now. I reminded you last time. And I saw your emails. Thank you for sending me those about students who were not keeping up. So, but officially Wednesday, 2 days from now, we need to start when Blackboard should be back up by then. Now, I would say when it comes back up tomorrow night, it'll crash again sometime during the night, as it always does. We know that. And hopefully by Wednesday morning, it'll be up where it'll work again. Now, if you go in and try to grade tomorrow night, there may be problems, as always. The first 12 or so hours after they bring it back up, it kind of scrambles our grading. The points won't show up. It won't let you submit. you know all the common problems when they had Blackboard down. So I would suggest waiting until probably Wednesday morning to attempt to go in and grade. And when you go into grade again on Wednesday morning, you know, look at Full Grade Center and look at the points. I can't show you. I had it up to show you tonight, and then it disappeared on me. I thought it might stay up if I had it up, but it wouldn't. It went down on me. But you know how when you go into Grade Center, Full Grade Center, you can look at the first column and see the points that they've got, and you know who's behind in class. It's really simple. So Wednesday morning, when this all comes back up and Grade Center is working again, take a look at that. Now, I have not been able to maintain my access into Grade Center for Steve Stone. Steve's in China right now. Hopefully, I talked to Bob about that today. I'll get that back maybe Wednesday morning as well. I have kept up as best I could, but for some reason, it will only give me access for his Grade Center once a day for about 10 minutes. And then it went away over the weekend, and I can't keep up, but I will follow through on his, but in mine. But if you will follow through on yours on Wednesday morning, sometime Wednesday, grade your work. There won't be any that's come in over these 2 days because it's been down. But Wednesday morning, look at your needs grading on Wednesday morning, grade those, and then look at Full Grade Center at your points and get an email out to students who are behind. Now, the question is how far behind do they need before you start emailing? I would say if they've got half or less of the points that they should have at this point in the semester, look at who's got the most points. Anybody that's got less than half of those, you should send them an email to follow up with them to make sure that we don't get too far behind. This is the middle of the semester. Actually, it's a little further than the middle. We're actually 1 week past the middle of the semester. So if they're not at least halfway at this point, there's risk that they're not going to finish this semester. So follow up with them on that if you would. But again, please do not fill out these midterm reports. They're for graduate, they're grad faculty of student athletes only. We don't have any student athletes in our program, so let's not make that mistake and send those to Carmen because that's confusing. All right, so I talked with her about that. The other items on our agenda, I did our textbook list and I submitted all of those individually. Let me pull that up. These are the texts that you all submitted to me that you would like to see. We've gone with current issues and trends. We kept that one in 601. Pitch and Quinn. We took 2 out that we weren't using. And of course, we're using the principal. So we're down to 3 texts in 601 from 5. In 602, we're keeping measurement and assessment, but thanks to Malia, we have found a new book, Research Methods for Education. That's a new one that came out this year that's much better suited for the direction that we're taking 602 now. More assessment based from EVOS, and it mirrors that. And so we're happy with that. 603, I'm keeping the Principal's Guide to School Law, an updated edition of that one. Of course, we're keeping it. And then the other one, Resource Management, a updated version of that one from 2013. And so those will continue to be our text, just updated versions of those. 604, Dr. Sanders, still going to use Parquet and Kilbane, the Teaching Models book from Pearson, which is excellent, and the Curriculum Leadership book. And so she'll be using updated versions of those. And then in 605, we have dropped the Hershey and Blanchard book. Steve Stone wanted to do that, and so we're going to put the Northhouse book, Leadership Theory and Practice. I hesitated. I thought about the Maxwell book. It's got some age to it, but it's a seminal text. But since we're using it in the doctoral program, I thought it would be better to use the Northhouse book. Dr. Stone liked it better as well. So we have substituted the Hershey and Blanchard book for the Northhouse book. this is for you folks as we get into as our schedule, and I'll introduce our schedule in a minute. Make sure you understand, don't just use your old syllabus. We have updated the text. Wrath and Conchu, we're still using strengths-based leadership, just a newer version. And we're still using the Glickman supervision book, again, an updated version of it. And we've added an optional one, the Whitaker book, What Great Principals Do Differently, 18 Things That Matter Most. I know some of you like it. So those are our texts starting in the spring going forward. I'm happy with those. As I said, I sat and filled out all the forms and got those in last Friday. And so all of those have been ordered. So we should be good to go on our textbooks. Anybody have any questions on our texts? Let's see. Here are all the textbooks, all the email confirmations for all the ones that I sent in. So all of them have been ordered. I double checked myself, so there they are. So that's all been ordered. Anybody have any questions on textbooks? All right. Fall break is this week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday on the official schedule. Please don't hold any required classes during that time because I always get thrashed by students. We get notified or reminded quite often from the folks in Webb Hall not to have classes during the actual official break, even online classes. We can resume again on Thursday. So no classes until Thursday. This is fall break, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday for grad.
Dr. Lamb, about the textbooks, when do you think we'll get the new copies so that we can make the adjustments in our course syllabus before the spring of the year?
You know, I don't know, Danny. That's a good question. I got in touch with them. As I said, I put the orders in, did them myself. So I know that the orders are in, and did the ISBN numbers and did all those things. And I used the form from the bookstore to do all of that, so that I know that they've all been ordered. Now, my suspicion is they should be available early November. Is my suspicion. If they're not, I'll find out why, but I will follow up with those. So I have ordered them all. I gave them numbers as well.
Okay.
Normally we just turn them in and we just turn a list in. This time I went ahead and ordered them because, as you know, I still laugh about the email. That wasn't funny, I guess, but it was to me. When this group took over at the bookstore last August, they were the most surprised people in town when no books showed up in the spring. They didn't bother to order. People turned in their lists. They just said, well, thank you for the list, and didn't bother to put the orders in. And then no book showed up in the spring, and their email said, you know, we've undergone a change in personnel in the bookstore, and books for the spring did not come in. It has not gone as well as we'd hoped. And I thought, there's a perfect example of hope's not a plan. So I ordered the books myself. I put the orders in. So there should be no excuse for not having the books. So hopefully we'll have them in November. And we will make sure that we get those to you. If the new ones will, Seth will procure them, or if we have to, we'll go over and get them. But no, I won't delegate that to somebody else. We're not having very good success dealing with the bookstore or the mail, or I don't. So if it doesn't work, just I took a group of certificates to the post office myself last week. They were sent over earlier in the semester, and they didn't show up at the recipients, and nobody can seem to find them. So I had to reorder those, put them in the envelopes, and mail them myself. So that's not worked out real well. The change in leadership over at that group has not worked out well, and so I'll just take it upon myself to make sure that what's done needs to be done will get done. We need our books, and so I've got them ordered. Schedule. This is tentative for right now. I am estimating, looking at the numbers on the spreadsheet from last week, I'm estimating 5 add-ons for the spring. Since we're now holding them at 15, that would be 75 of them. And I'm estimating about 35 for a total of somewhere between 100 and 110 for the spring. That'd be 2 sections of regular, as you can see. How I have those aligned. Stedman, Crawford, Hamilton, and Revis will be teaching add-on. Church and Todd, the regulars again. For 603, the 601s, you'll notice that I've got myself for 3 sections. That's to hedge my bet. My suspicion is I'll get a call from somebody somewhere and says, can you collapse one of those sections? We could collapse one, and which I don't want to do. But if we collapse those, we wouldn't be but 1 or 2 over. We could squeeze another section. All of those are pretty much almost full. But if we took one of them and took 2 out of each, we could probably squeeze another section out, and I suspect I'll be asked to do that. If I'm not, I'll farm that third one out to somebody else. But I'll hold on to it right now in case it gets collapsed. And so Lisa Barnes, who's training with me this semester, Sarah, who's taught 603 before, Rachel, and Karen, who's with me this semester, that'll be our 603 group going forward. Malia and Kelly will have 602. We're revamping it as we speak. Dr. Sanders will have our 604 and Dr. Stone our 605. So that's kind of the usual group of suspects. And you can see the coaches as well. I'm hoping that some of these new people that we get them through. We've got 3 that are in process this semester just to get through a Blackboard training. Doug Massengill, Doug's principal. Don Phipps, he's superintendent in Caldwell. Jackie Tobias, she's principal at one of the medical high schools in Durham. They're all 3 involved in Blackboard training right now. Hopefully, if they all 3 get through, I'll work with them in their coaching semester in the spring, bringing them on. I don't know if you knew, John Shepard John's going to drop out of teaching after this semester. John's very busy. Congratulations to John, who's the principal of the year in Henderson County. He's taken on a bigger role and responsibility there. And so we're adding new people in to our process as we go, always looking to do that. So that's the tentative schedule right now. Again, that's based on projected enrollment. I believe we'll make 5 and 2. If we don't, we'll adjust from there. So that's the schedule for the spring. The only other thing I have tonight is looking over the work coming in task stream. I'm beginning to get concerned, and I guess this is really nitpicky, but I'm seeing more and more of these canned programs that have become our action plan. We need to, I guess what I'm saying is during the development of the app cell especially, and in any of them, I'm seeing it also in the CAP, we need to look and make sure that the work that they've done, the work that they've done in terms of their needs assessment, their data mining, all the work that they've done leading up to their action plans, that their action plan reflects that work. This person did all this work about their academic needs, and then her action plan has got Y-Try program, which is a social emotional program that her district's already doing. It doesn't really fit the identified need that she had in her working through the app cell process. This is just a solution hunting a problem. This is not really an academic program, and I Googled it just to make sure.
And you're right, Dale. I've had the full training in Y-Try with communities and schools.
And this would be totally appropriate in the CAP.
It's all about resiliency.
Exactly. This would be
That's all.
totally
That's the
appropriate.
whole thing is about building resiliency.
Yeah. And it's for dropout prevention, violence prevention,
Exactly.
truancy. This is be a wonderful program. Would be a wonderful program, you know, for one of your areas of the CAP. Doesn't fit at all with the work that she'd done in the apps.
It does not.
And this was and as you can see, this was the total basis for her app sale. Get over here. I mean, it's only the Y test. They're doing the program in homerooms. It's not even a teaching program. After she did all this work, identified all their academic needs, and then this is the solution that she's proposed. It doesn't fit at all.
Well, there's a manual that tells you everything to do with that anyway.
Exactly. This is just a canned program that they bought as part of their multi-tiered intervention system. This is a part of their MTSS. This has got nothing to do with academics or an action plan to improve academics. But this is what she plugged in after all. I mean, her work was great all the way through until her action plan, and then it was just completely out in left field. I'm seeing more and more of this in terms of these technology-based programs that school systems are buying now and plugging in to solve all their problems. I've seen 2 or 3 of these in the CAP lately that don't really have anything to do with the teacher working conditions survey. I'm concerned that they're shortcutting us here. That in the end, we're leading them through the process as we should be, and they're following us through the process. And then when we get down to the end, they're just plugging in what their district has already bought, some IT program or some technology program, and we've kind of lost the whole purpose of what we were trying to train them to do in continuous improvement. You know, the app cell is the instructional piece, not the socio-emotional dropout prevention piece. That's somewhere else. So we need to start looking, and we need to start making sure that when we do those final check on these things, that their action plan, marketing plan, the action plan at the end, no matter what we call it, marketing plan, cultural advocacy plan, professional growth plan, it's all an action plan at the end, that it matches, and that they're not just kind of shortcutting us here and just dropping in some program their district has already bought, because that will seep into the process, and pretty soon there'll be no process. It'll just be copying the materials that come with the program. We've already been through that, as you know. We had to fight that when this program started. That's how we kind of got started in this, is that people just took stuff that looked like what we were doing and copied and pasted it. And they didn't actually follow the process at all. And when we got it, and that's why we made the templates, so they would have to answer the prompts directly instead of just putting stuff in and trying to make it fit what we were doing. I'm beginning to see us go back to that again now. Where they're putting stuff in. I read one from an alternative school that I could tell was basically a program that they were running, that they were trying to make it look like that they'd actually done it there. We're starting to see a lot more of that. And where we're going to get caught with this stuff is when we do turn it in. It's going to come up 80% or 90%. And then what are we going to do? It's too late to have them start all over again at that point. That's at the end of the process. We'd be 2 or 3 months behind or 4. So that's the operational piece of this that's bad. Is if we let them do this, in the end, they're just copying copyrighted material. And when they submit it, the bells and whistles and turn it in go crazy, because they've just copied a program. And then we're 2 or 3, 4 months down the road. What are we going to do then? Just let it pass and go on, or we'll have to stop and start them all over again, much like we did in the beginning when they were just copying stuff and putting it in. For those of you, I know all of you have been around long enough to remember that was our biggest problem. They took stuff that looked similar and just tried to make it look like they had done some work. and it was all just copying other people's work. We're
Dale,
heading.
one of the things that I have found in approving the APSL for Turnitin and for Task Stream is we've been doing this enough now that we're recruiting a lot of the students from the same districts, and that number that you had, that number has changed. I went in and I looked at what the problems were, and it's simply because they're retrieving the same information from the district. So that number is, it's going to be a higher number now and Turnitin in a lot of places than what it used to be.
Yeah, it will, but that's okay. That's okay. We can look and see what it is. The problem is when it's copyrighted materials from some canned program that you're not supposed to use unless you pay them. And I don't want to get into that.
Right.
We got, I mean, all these people, all this stuff that they're copying is for-profit stuff. It's not stuff that's public domain use. This is all programs that you have to buy. And I don't want to get into the copyright on that stuff, the mess that you get into with that. So we need to be paying close attention on these action plans, especially to these canned programs that they just haven't sat and copied all that material and thrown it into a template and try to pass it off as their work. That's pretty much what this one is that I just looked at. So I've seen several cases of that this semester. But Danny's right. Part of it too is everything's already been done to death at some of these schools, and people don't want to participate. They've already done this. They've already been on a PLC. And we've already done the data, and they want to do something new. Well, that's part of it. That's exactly right. We've been in the same schools multiple times, and so it's easier to just find something else to do. Except the problem is copyright. All right. I see my time's about up. Dr. Bull, if you're still with us, welcome. Thank you for coming tonight. If you have any words of wisdom before we close tonight.
Yeah, I'm holding. Yes, I'm here. I'm here. How you doing?
Great. We're all doing wonderful.
Well, thank you. As always, I just sit back and listen to the amazing work you all do, and it just continues to show why the Ed Leadership Program is #1 in North Carolina, because of the amazing work that you all do. And I just want to thank you all, faculty members and adjuncts, for the amazing work that you do. It's always gratifying to listen to how well organized and diligent the MELS program is, and how you all go about as a team getting things done. As a plug-in, we finished our accreditation process on Saturday for transparency. Met with the council, the accreditation council, a membership of 4. And pretty much they just asked us 3 simple questions. In 20 minutes, we had a discussion and it's over. So I'm very confident that we will come out with flying colors. And we do that because of the amazing work of our adjuncts. As you all know, if we take the adjuncts out, we'll be down to a skeleton backbone, and there's no way we could do this job. So we want to thank you all again for what you do, and we appreciate everything. And thank you, Dr. Lamb, for the amazing work you do. Thank you, Dr. Sanders, for the work you do. And thank you, Dr. Stone, who is not with us, but we want to thank all our full-time faculty. Are there any questions for me before I turn it over?
Dr. Bull, I didn't get to join you Saturday. I was in class. I didn't get to join you Saturday. Was there a recording of that, or?
No, that was on Cape Side, so they control everything.
Okay. I didn't think there was. I wanted to get, but I was. It was more important to actually
pretty much
the people who were paying us.
Yes, the question surrounded recruitment pattern, trends, assessment. And I think there was one question on how we use data to make informed decisions with our partners, which, you know, right at the top of our head, I mean, those were those were the ABCs of what we do. We didn't
Sure.
So we're able to answer that. But on the call was Bruce Bars, also Lane, Steve Laws, Jennifer Putnam were on the call. So we were very well represented.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, well, thank you so very much for all you do. And Dr. Laws, from me to you, you know what I'm sending you best wishes, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, then. Take care.
All right, everybody have a good evening. As I close, to amplify Dr. Bull, thank you for the kind words. Congratulations on Kate, but to amplify his, and I have this kind of as my parting shot here. Here is our strategic plan. I'm going to try to have it up every time we meet so that we can refer to it if people have questions. But it is about data. It is about results. The final thing that I have for you, and that Dr. Bull sent me, and I'll have to pull it up. I can't pull it up ahead of time. I wanted to share this with you as our benediction tonight. I'm going to have to pull it off of disk. Here we go. This is most gratifying. The data from the folks that we have placed in the field. Let me get it over here. On standards 1 through 5, administrative evaluation of our folks that we put in the field over the last year, the percent accomplished and percent distinguished, the two highest levels. We exceeded the state average significantly in all 5 categories on both distinguished and accomplished. We were the only provider in the state who did that, hence the #1 ranking. It just goes to show what a great job you folks do and how appreciative I am. So this is a very prideful moment here for us and for them. And it shows that our folks are getting what they paid for. And that's all I can ask for, is that we provide them what they paid us to do. And so very pleased with these numbers on our graduates. Thank you again for participating. Again, we can resume classes on Thursday if you need to. Please, on Wednesday, check your grade center and look at your students. If you got some that are behind, let's continue to send them emails. I know we started 2 weeks ago, but if they haven't done any better over that 2 weeks, let's hit them again. And I'll see you again in 2 weeks. We'll meet again in 2 weeks, and I'll get you the link out. Thank you all. I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Dale, will you send us a copy of that strategic plan?
I already have, but I will send it again tonight.
Okay.
I want to send this one that I've got on the screen and the strategic plan with the video for tonight. I'll send it again.
All
Thank
right.
you.
All right. Good night.
Good night, everybody.